Hello, welcome to this tutorial in which I'm going to show you how we can connect a custom object that is under sales application with an object that is standard under the common application strip. Um, so let's begin by creating a sandbox, because I'm going to guide you through this from scratch to the end result. So we go with manage sandboxes first, and we create a new sandbox. Now we need to activate the sandbox. Okay, and now we need to go to a navigator and application composer, and we create our custom object. Okay, and now let's go to custom objects. I already have some objects here, but for this tutorial I'll create a new one, so you see the entire process from start to end. So let's call this object sales object custom, and I'll just leave this as the system generate them and click OK. Now the system will create our object and it should appear under custom objects right here. Okay, and now we have our object right here, but there is one more thing to do, is to generate pages for this object, otherwise the object will not be visible in navigator or on the home page. So let's just go to pages and then just click create default pages, and now the system will generate for us the create pages and details pages for this object. And now we have the pages that we need. Next, we need so what we want is to connect this object here with the common object of contacts. Now the way to connect to objects is by creating a relationship between them. There are basically two types of relationships that can be created between two objects. The first type is a relationship of type one-to-many. Now this type of relationships are the most common used ones. For example, if you see here under opportunity, we have some child objects. For example, opportunity revenue is a child object of the opportunity. Between the opportunity and the opportunity revenue, there is a relationship of type one-to-many. And this type of one-to-many relationships can be created even between top-level objects, for example, from between opportunity and, for example, MDF claim or any other object. However, in our case, because we are dealing with two objects on two different application strips, the one-to-many relationship will not help us much. We need to bridge these two. The way to bridge these two application areas. So what we're going to do is actually we'll create the second type of relationships that we find Sales Cloud, and that is the type of many-to-many. What happens when you make a many-to-many relationship between two objects is that an intersection object is created uh, and that intersection object, you will see it under under both the objects. For example, if we create an intersection object between sales object custom one and contacts, we will see here under this object an intersection, a new object called intersection object, and also in contacts we will see the same intersection object. And through that object we will be able to bridge these two areas and make it so that this object and the contacts are connected. Now let me show you how you do that. Basically, we scroll down here to relationships, and in here you click create new relationship. Now switch this cardinality to many, and now we see we got few more options. So first you need to select the source, then the target. I'll select the source of object as my custom object, and the target will be contact. Now we need to give a name to the relationship. I will say many to many. Actually no, let's not many to many. Let's because you'll see why I don't want to add this type of name. Let's say something else, custom contact, and let's put number 1 here. Now we need to give the name of the intersection object. I usually give the same name as I give to the relationship, but you are free to give whatever name you want here. So I'll just put this one here, and now you can select some data filters. You can select some from the source and from the target, but I'm gonna worry about that. I'll just save and close, and once the system creates the relationship, we should be able to see an intersection object called custom contact 1 under both contacts and sales object 1. So here we go. You can see here we have one intersection table. Now this intersection object looks like a child of this object, but it's not really a child. It's actually a related object. So it may look like these ones from here, you know, that are actually child objects, but it won't behave like a child. It's actually going to be a related object. Now if we go to common, we should see exactly the same intersection object under the contacts. And if we expand here and go to contacts, we see the same object right here. Now let's go back to sales. Okay, so now we have basically a bridge between common and sales. What we can do next is go to pages and create a subtab based on this intersection object. So let's go to pages, select the details, and I actually like to make a copy of the default. I never play around with the default layout. It's a fallback, so I usually don't change this. I make a copy of it, and I edit a copy. So okay, now we have the option to add a new tab, and now as I said, this looks like a child, but it's not really a child, so you have to select related object in order to create your subtab. It even tells you for what this is used. Right, one intersection object between many relationships. Now hit next. Now select your object. It should be, the intersection object should appear in this list here. I'll leave the name by default. Now the fields you will see here are the fields of the intersection object itself, because the intersection object has some fields like create by, creation date, currency code, you know, standard fields that you see in almost any object. And additionally, it also uh, has contact fields. Right? If we'd go to the contact object instead of the contact fields, we would see the sales object custom one fields. And you can see here from which object the field belongs to. So if we look here, this is custom contact one, the name of the intersection object and the name of the field. If you scroll down, here we see affinity, for example, and belongs to a contact object. Okay, so let's add, I'll just add the name of the contact. Let's see where it is. I believe this is the one. So just add it here, and let me add also first name and last name just to make it look good. So last name and first name should be right here. Let's switch these two, and now we will also want to select the drill down column. That means that field where you click on it and you can drill down in the record, and I'll put it as the contact name. This one here, and this one is not really required. This is actually a custom field I made some time ago in contacts. Okay, so this is it. You can also leave these things marked to have create button, add button, and remove. This will help you create new contacts or add existing contacts to the subtab, and remove, it's self-explanatory. It will delete the record from the subtab. Let's click next, and let's save and close. Okay, now we have our subtab. The subtab is called contacts, and we can go to the custom object in UI, and we should be able to see this subtab there. I don't have any records. Let me make a new record very quickly. Let's call it my first record. Save and continue. And as I told you, we have here the subtab. We can click on it, and this will display contacts connected to this with this specific record from our custom object. So we can go ahead and click add, and we should see some existing contacts here. Click done. We have it here. We can drill down on the contact. Of course, I don't have the subtab here because I didn't create it. To have a subtab here, you basically do the same thing as I did before. You go to the common, go to the contact, to its pages, and then you create a new subtab based on the intersection object, and you put whatever fields you want there. Of course, you can go with create, and we make a new okay, let's say I don't know, John Doe. And maybe I'll put a number. I'm not sure if some other contact already exists, because some other contact already exists with this name, but I'll add this number here to make sure it's not it's a unique contact. So save and close, and yeah, as I said, the contact already exists, but not with this name, so I'll just continue and click create. And now we have a new contact added here. Okay, I'll stop this video here. In the next video, I'll show you how we can add Groovy to automate some of this stuff. For example, let's say we'll have here on the sales custom object a dynamic choice list that points out to the contact, and when I select the contact there and I save, I would want that contact to be automatically shown here in my subtab. Or if I already have in that dynamic choice list a contact and I remove it, I would want that contact to be also removed from this subtab here. So I'll show you that in the next video. Thank you for watching.